Have you ever wanted to cook a nice meal for your family, but you don't know how to cook a nice meal? Where there's multiple you could cook, but steak is mainly the main one that people usually try to cook for the family. Today, I'm gonna go over the steps on what you need to be able to cook a good steak, and then the materials that you need, and the benefits of learning how to know how to cook a steak. So first, you need either a New York strip or any type of steak that you really want to use. You need your butter. Personally, I use garlic powder, pepper, and salt. And then you need a knife and a fork, and a plate, and a grill. So on the steps of what you want to do, first, you want to get your steak out of the packaging. Bear with me. And then you want to use your fork to transfer it onto the plate. And then after that, usually you want to throw that in the trash. And then you want to start seasoning it. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your salt on. And then after that, usually put a good amount. Don't be afraid to douse it up. You're going to put your pepper on. And then you're going to add your garlic powder. You could use any seasoning you really like or that would taste good. This is just the recipe that I'm just kind of used to by my mom and dad, kind of. So then you want to put your garlic powder. Make sure you put a good amount in there. And then you usually want to wait until the grill's ready. And it might take a minute because sometimes grills cook slower than others. And make sure you put your grill at 350 degrees. That's what this one's at, but this one's a little bit of a slow cooker. So it kind of takes a little bit to heat up. So I'm just gonna move on to the benefits then. So the benefits of learning how to cook a steak is it helps farmers earn their money because they feed the cows and they help them like beef up to where then they'll send them off to the slaughterhouses to where they could get paid for having, you know, good cows. And then they get sent to the houses, and then us people, we eat those cows. Sorry to the vegans, I guess that's a big thing. But yeah. We're still waiting on the grill to heat up. Fun fact, people love to cook their steak really, really well done to where it's like hard to chew and like really dry. But I'm gonna cook a rare steak today. Alrighty, so now the grill's ready. So first, you want to get into your butter. This might steam a little bit, so you want to get into your butter. You want to grab a good amount. You want to put it on there. Then you want to kind of, move it around where your steak is going to be. Just make sure you put it all around in there. Then after that, you want to make sure you grab your steak, but make sure it's face down where the seasoning you put on there. So then you want to put that on. Then after that, you want to start seasoning the other side. So you want to start with your salt. It doesn't matter what order you go in. It's whatever order you prefer or whichever is the quickest for you to do. And then you want to grab your pepper. Make sure you try and season it evenly or else you won't get like an even seasoned taste kind of on it. But unless you don't want that. Alrighty, since now we have that side seasoned, now we're gonna let that sear for about 3 minutes on that side, then we're gonna flip it onto the other. And then sometimes with some grills, it is kind of hard to get the sides, so you'll kind of have to use your fork and kind of like push it on that side and hold it for a little bit, and then flip it to the other side to make sure it's cooked on all sides. So we're just gonna let that sit for a bit. Usually it would cook faster if it's actually on an actual grill, but we have a little griddle electric grill, so bear with me for a little bit. As it's cooking, you want to make sure to keep some of the seasoning closer to the steak, or you can try, if you have like a little grease thing that you could swoop the seasoning into so it doesn't burn and it doesn't really stick to like your pan, so then it's not a hassle to clean up, you could also do that. But I just like to not have it burn. And then we about have maybe 2 or 1 minute left, and then I'll flip it. All right, we'll flip it. And then usually after the first flip, the sides will be a little bit golden, but don't make that scare you away because it's not burning. It's just gonna be golden crisp by the time it's done, if you really think about it. And I'm trying to cook like a really rare steak, but also like a medium kinda. So it's gonna be rare and just a little rare, you know? And usually people cook the steaks however they prefer, but also depends on how thick your steak is, depending on how long you have to cook it for. So we're gonna let this sit for about 2 more minutes maybe, and then we'll get cooking onto the sides. And then you always want to make sure, just in case in the end if you don't trust yourself on how well it's cooked, you could always cut into it while it's still on the griddle to make sure that it's this amount that you want. But if not, just pop it back on the griddle. Starting to smell good. Can you smell it? Yeah? Alrighty, so we'll check this side now. We'll check this side now. Now, what you want to do, you kind of want to get the side up, and you want to hold it on that side. Try and get it to where the butter is, so then you can also get the butter. Then you want to get the other side after that. And in between them, you could also add a little bit more butter if you have some. At the end, I like to just sear it off with some butter if I really have to, just to keep it, well, and it will splatter at you. Be careful. It does get hot. And then you just want to move that on top of the butter. Have it sit on there for a little bit. And then you want to flip it again. And then it'll start looking golden brown a little bit on the edges. Some sides might not cook as well, but it also depends what griddle you're using, because if the sides aren't evenly warmed up, then it doesn't cook very well. But you just want to make sure you check it and make sure that it's good. Now we're going to cut into it and see how well it is cooked. Bear with me, please. Ow. So it should probably be cooked a little bit more. It's just a little too pink for it, so maybe just give it about just a little bit more, a couple minutes on each side. Usually, if you cook this, you might want to have a fan or something to help evaporate the steam so it doesn't set off a smoke alarm or a sprinkler, you know. And don't rush it either, because if you try and rush it, it wouldn't be cooked very well. So don't rush it. And now I think our steak is good. So I'm just gonna take it off. Make sure you turn off the pan and don't leave it on. And then we'll just show you guys. And that's how you somewhat cook a rear steak, if you can see it. I don't want to drop it. Thank you for watching and listening to my speech today. I hope you learned how to cook a steak and how to cook your family a proper meal.